What's poppin' YouTube? Are we back with another video? Now today, this is gonna be a different kind of video for me. I wanna try to do something new that I haven't really done before and do a tier list video. So I'm ranking the Undertale and Deltarune chapters since chapter 5 just came out. Man, it's really been like what? Almost 3 weeks by the time I'm recording this. It's only been 3 weeks since chapter 5 came out. That shit crazy, but time going by fast. But yo, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, nothing here is gonna go below a B tier. I'll look at B tier like 8.5 out of 10. A tier is 9 out of 10. D1, that's D1, 10 out of 10. Perfect. But all right. But yeah, since Undertale came first, we're gonna start off with Undertale. I'm gonna put Undertale in A tier right now, 9 out of 10. Now, the thing that carries Undertale is the characters, and that's probably the same thing that's gonna go for like Deltarune. Is carried by the characters. Like, I will say Deltarune 100% is better as a game. It's definitely the better game than Undertale. But I feel Undertale just got this magic about it though. Undertale just got this magic, especially like I remember when I was a kid, because Undertale came out when I was a kid. I was obsessed with Undertale in like late elementary school, early middle school. Like I always had a friend that I was talking about Undertale with back in the day. Like me and my cousin used to talk about this junk all the time. We would theorize, like we used to be talking about all, like the Gaster, Sans being the coldest character ever made. But I feel like Undertale definitely still holds up incredibly well in terms of his character writing. But I will say, like, playing through Undertale, it kind of smooths itself out once you get to Snowden and Waterfall. It smooths itself out. But the Ruins is such a fucking drag to play through. I'm gonna keep it on. I don't like playing through the Ruins. Like, that's kind of why I'm kind of not doing the Genocide route right now. The Genocide route as it is already gonna be tedious because I have to go through every single area and kill all the enemies. But you're telling me I have to go through the Ruins again? That junk just feels so tedious. And plus, I feel like the characters are done extremely well, but you don't stay with them like you do in Deltarune. I feel like the Deltarune cast is definitely more interesting than the Undertale cast. Now, again, that's not to say that Undertale's cast isn't good though. Undertale's cast is still D1. It's still D1. I love these characters to death. It's just you don't get to spend that much time with them. That's what's kind of holding them back from being like that D1 10 out of 10. And plus, True Pacifist as an ending is so fucking good, bro. Like, the way that Toby managed to cram in the backstory for Azrael and Kara at the last half, of Undertale, but still manages to make True Pacifist still hit the way that it does. And then once you finally beat that shit, and then you get Flowey talking about, please just let Frisk live their life and, let them be happy. Like, bruh, why do you make me feel bad about playing this game? Like, that's probably, like, beyond Genocide. And that's the other thing, too. Like, if you play through True Pacifist first and want to go through the Genocide route, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like shit trying to go through the Genocide route after True Pacifist. And now that, I gave everyone their ending. Because now, I feel like shit. I feel like shit. But anyway, Deltarune Chapter 1. Chapter 1. I'm gonna put Deltarune Chapter 1 in A tier above Undertale. Now, I'm biased towards Chapter 1. Deltarune Chapter 1, I'm heavily biased towards it, mainly because I played Chapter 1 in like a pretty stressful time of my life. Like, college work was being piled up on me, and like my YouTube channel had gotten terminated 4 months before I started playing the chapter. So like, I first started playing that chapter because I saw a video about the weird route that said, I think it was called How Deltarune Perfects True Evil. So I was thinking, okay, bro, this shit sound cool. Let me try it out. And I liked Undertale as a kid. Let me see what Deltarune chapter was talking about. And then like playing through chapter 1 for the first time, like bro, that video, I'm not gonna lie, bro, this shit made me feel like a kid again, bro. Like that same experience that I got watching all those YouTube videos for Undertale, that shit came back tenfold playing through Deltarune chapter 1. It's like, bro, oh my god, that shit is so fucking fire. Like seeing all these characters for the first time, Susie, Lancer, Chris, Rousey, Rules, King, like all these niggas, bro, seeing them for the first time, it's just like, bro, I felt like it's just so good. It felt so good. It felt so good seeing them for the first time. But I will say, going back and playing chapter 1 after everything else, you can definitely see the Undertale DNA in chapter 1. Now, again, that's not bad. You know, Undertale was good, and of course, Deltarune is gonna have Undertale DNA. Of course it is, but like, I feel like Deltarune chapter 1 carries over most of the flaws that Undertale had. It definitely feels more underbaked than what's to come. You can see that Deltarune has potential to step out of the shadow, but I feel like it stays a little close to Undertale in chapter 1. But another thing that's kind of carrying chapter 1 is the vibe. Chapter 1 has this like fairy tale vibe. It kind of has this like Alice in Wonderland fairy tale vibe that I feel like none of the other chapters have. I feel like the sense of adventure that you get in chapter 1, the other ones have their own set of adventures. I mean, their own feel of adventures, but I feel like chapter 1 has its own unique version of it. Now, chapter 2. D1. Chapter 2 is D1. That shit 10 out of 10, bro. When I think of Deltarune, I think of chapter 2. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna think of chapter 2 when I think of Deltarune. If chapter 1 was Deltarune kind of showing that it had potential to be greater than Undertale, chapter 2 is when it cemented that shit. Chapter 2 is Deltarune. Like, all the things that I feel like a lot of people come to associate Deltarune with comes from chapter 2. And chapter 2 is basically when the plot gets started, because that's when the Roaring Knight gets name dropped for the first time. Like, I know the Knight is referenced in chapter 1, but chapter 2 is really when, you know, the Roaring Knight is, you know, you're gonna think, okay, who's this Roaring Knight dude? What's their deal? What they up to? You get the Roaring Knight, you get the Well and Burley in the Dark Road, you get Spammed, you get Queen. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Queen is still probably the best boss character in the game. I like other bosses more than Queen, but she's the best boss character. I think the only other boss character that really stuck with me would be Flowery or the Roaring Knight, but we'll talk about them when we get to chapter 3, 4, and 5. We'll talk about them when we get there. But Queen, to me, is probably like the best boss character because she's prevalent through the chapter. Like, she's constantly showing up, constantly having, like, you constantly interacting with her. That's kind of and another thing, like, I'm gonna be now again going back to chapter 1. I don't really care for King as a character at all. I don't really care for him. I don't care for him at all. Queen, though, she's funny as shit. She's funny. She's interesting, and you know, like, she's definitely way more interesting to look at and more entertaining to look at as a character than King ever could be. And plus, we also get the start of the weird route in chapter 2. So a lot of people probably think, okay, bro, this is just genocide 2. If only you fucking know. If only you know what's to come from from the weird route. But nah, like, I think the weird route was how I ended up finding out about Deltarune in the first place. So, but I found the weird route to be really interesting. I thought it was really interesting to go through. And then not even just that, like, I feel like Spamton as well, like Spamton's whole character, his whole deal. Spamton to Deltarune is what Sans was to Undertale. I feel like Spamton low-key is still the mascot of Deltarune. I feel like he's probably the main, but besides like Chris, Susie, Rousey, I feel like Spamton is probably the character that people know from Deltarune. And I feel like his story was pretty interesting too. Like the whole thing about him being a puppet on strings, him, like the way that he parallels with Chris, like how he represents more of like a negative side of how Chris's whole story can go. And I feel like that's kind of what the weird route is maybe going towards. I can't predict what the fuck this nigga Toby finna be doing with the story. Oh, also another thing, if you want some detailed explanation of how I feel about all these chapters, you looking at the wrong one. This is just like, I'm just a regular person just talking about this shit. I'm not good enough at critiquing anything to give some detailed explanation. Okay, yeah, so chapter 5 is like this, and this. Like, nah, bro. I'm just giving my own opinion. Chapter 3. Chapter 3's beats here. Now, if this was my first playthrough, that shit would be in D1. But chapter 3 becomes a slog to play through after a certain point. Like, once I replay that shit for trying to get to the sword route, I just realized, bro, chapter 3 is so fucking boring to play through, bro. This shit is a slog. Like, the humor is fire. Like, I think the humor is really good in chapter 3, but the playing through chapter 3 kind of just sours the taste of the jokes once I go on for a replay. Because, like, I feel like half the time in chapter 3 you're spending most of the time just playing the boards rather than moving around and seeing the world. Like, I think the only boards that I really love is the sword route. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Chapter 3 is carried by two things: the sword route and the Roaring Knight. It's carried by those two, bro. I love going back to fight the Roaring Knight. The Roaring Knight is probably my favorite boss to fight in Deltarune. It's probably my favorite one. But oh my god, bro. Chapter 3, the sword route is probably like the best, probably one of the best sections of Deltarune as a whole. Like, the way that shit builds up. The way that the sword route builds up that horror, like, that shit feels like you're playing through a creepypasta. Like, the way that this shit that it slowly ramps up the horror aspects all the way up until you fight Eram. Now, and plus you're constantly thinking, like, bro, what does this shit mean? The forbidden power of the game with ice magic. When you get the ice key, that creepy ass music starts playing. The second one, I think the second one, that's when you get the whole used up text. And then the third one, when you kill Susie and Rousey, you're like, bro, what the fuck does this shit mean? And then when you finally put 2 and 2 together and you realize that this is instructions on the weird route, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I really do wish that the sword route was how I figured out about the weird route at the same time. Like, if I never found out about the weird route, I would have never played Deltarune in the first place. So I'm thankful for that. But I genuinely want to see, like, if anybody found out about the weird route through the sword route, let me know in the comments, because I really want to know what that experience is like from that perspective. Because now you basically got the instructions on how to do the evil route in the game, just like that. I feel like that's probably the best way to learn about the weird route. Like, Deltarune releasing in chapters is both a good and bad thing. I feel like the game is better off releasing in chapters, because I feel like Deltarune wouldn't hit the same if it just dropped as a full thing. Like, if you got chapter 1 to 7 off the rip, if you got all them chapters off the rip, I feel like Deltarune would not hit the same as it is now. But at the same time, though, imagine finding out about the sword route once the full game is finished, and then that's how you found out about the weird route. That shit would be fire. Or at least not even with the game being finished, but just like right now as it is. You just found out about the weird route just playing through the sword route. But I love the way that the sword route feels like it's ramping up in horror. But Eram, pretty cool character. But my god, your boss fight, bro. I hate fighting Eram's boss fight, bro. Fuck Eram's fight. I hate that fight. But and Tenna, I do enjoy Tenna as well. I love Tenna's character too. He's probably another boss character that kind of sticks with me. Not as much as Queen does, but he definitely does stick with me. And I do kind of like his dynamic. I do like how he connects with Spamton as well. But the thing that really just holds back chapter 3 is really just the boards. Like, I feel like if we cut down on the boards or maybe like diversify them a little bit, that probably would make things a little bit better for me. Enough about chapter 3. Chapter 4. D1. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Now look, y'all finna see some immense glazing right now, bro. Y'all finna see, bro. Chapter 4 is went beyond just being my favorite Deltarune chapter. That shit is probably one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time. Chapter 4, I feel like if Chapter 2 is what gave Deltarune its identity, Chapter 4 is what cemented it down. Chapter 4 has the best of everything in Deltarune. It has the best Dark World. Now again, I might be heavily biased towards this. Now this is two biases, because one, I started playing Chapter 4 around the time where I found out my YouTube channel came back. So I feel like that happiness from me finding out about my channel coming back, that might be affecting my perception of the chapter. But still, that shit's just D1. Also, hold up, another one. Chapter 4 is Susie's chapter. Susie, my favorite character. Nigga, I'll glaze Susie to hell and back, bro. I don't give a fuck. I'll glaze Susie no matter what. And plus, Chapter 4 got Garrison. Chapter 4 is Susie's chapter. It has Garrison. It has probably the best soundtrack that tobyfox has ever made. Like, well, bro, we could go but we could go song for song for the soundtrack, bro. Dark Sanctuary, Third Sanctuary, Guardian, Spawn, motherfucking hold on, bro. See, y'all got me started, bro. Y'all got me started. Hold on, bro. We finna go up. We finna up this soundtrack right now. We finna up this soundtrack. We finna look at the soundtrack. We finna go song by song right now.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
And then, hold on, Garrison. We need to talk about Garrison, bro. We didn't even talk about the GOAT yet, bro. Garrison is probably the best written tobyfox character that I've ever seen, bro. The way that this dude goes from being this joking, fun old man to that motherfucker that's dropping knowledge on you on the flip of a dime, bro. He is the best. He is the best written Shadow Crystal boss. I do enjoy finding the Roaring Knight and Spamton Neo a bit more than Garrison as a fight, but as a character, Deltarune, as a character, Garrison is just D1 as a character, bro. That shit is just D1. His dynamic with Susie, that mentor-student dynamic that those two have. That is the best written chapter. And then like the Dark World too. Now I love Bloodborne and I love Batman. And I love DMC. So I love like gothic architecture. So just, you know, and I like Elden Ring. I reference Elden Ring a lot. Elden Ring, Dark Souls, like the way that the sanctuaries look, like I love how the sanctuaries look. Like I love the cathedral architecture that Chapter 4 has. And then Chapter 4 has the best lead up to the final boss. The Titan is not that hard of a fight, but you are lying to me when you tell me that you don't feel hype into the lead up to the Titan when the Roaring Knight makes the Dark Fountain. And the Dark Fountain shoots up, and then the Titan comes out. The motherfucking hand comes out. Shah! The hand bursts out the motherfucking shell. And then you start climbing. And then you fight the Titan spawn. Then you climb again. And then you finally lead up. You get Susie's dialogue. She's saying, "Hey, bro, get out of our way or I'm going to cut you in half with my axe." The Titan reveals itself through the wings. And then when she hits that when Susie hits that, "Chris, Rousey, let's go." Battle start. Boom! The Guardian starts blasting in your ear. If you want to look at me and tell me that that is not the hardest lead up to any boss fight in this entire game, you are lying to me, bro. Chapter 4 is D1. That is D1.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
Alright. I'm gonna get Chapter 4's dick out of my mouth. And we're gonna talk about Chapter 5. Now, I think I was a little too negative on Chapter 5 when I played it in my second video. I feel like I was a little too negative when I said it was a little too goofy for following Chapter 4. I still do partially agree with that, But at the same time, I had some time to think about chapter 5. If chapter 4 is that glimpse of the darkness that's to come in the later chapters, and chapter 5 is meant to be that one last fun adventures, I look at chapter 5 as a chapter about denial. It is you're denying the shit that's in front of you. But I feel like they should have at least just been like one little dialogue that Susie could have had with Chris and Rousey. Like maybe Rousey say, hey, about the final prophecy, like just have Susie say, nah, let's not talk about that right now. Like this is a nice little dark world. Let's not talk about that. I would have been completely fine with the chapter. Because it just feels like, my problem with chapter 5 is that it feels like chapter 4's whole events just didn't happen. It's one thing to deny it, to deny that things happen, but it's a whole other thing to just feel like it's just brushed to the side. I feel like the chapter I feel like I'd be mad at chapter 5 way more if the chapter wasn't good. Cause like the chapter's goofy, but the shit's actually funny though. That's the thing. So hold on. Chapter 5 is D1. That shit's D1. It's right under chapter 2. But chapter 5 I'd look at way worse if the shit wasn't funny. Like the jump was goofy. And I can look at the goofiness and say like, bro, like this isn't. I wish that the chapter took itself a little bit more seriously after following chapter 4, because I always thought chapter 5 was going to be more melancholy than anything. It's like we're happy, but we still got this prophecy looming over our heads. And that's why I kind of like the castle section, because you constantly get those moments with like Asgore talking about that day, you know, like with Death going missing or whatever. You got Asgore, you know, pushing the flowers aside for his own, you know, for his research, because he wants to know what happened. And then Flowery and Rousey going against each other. That moment with Rousey and Flowery when they're when Rousey is praying to protect Chris and Susie, and Flowery comes in and says, "Hey, I know you guys are gonna save the world." Like some moments like that, or like the last half in the Flowery fight. I wish there was more of that in the chapter. But at the same time, the chapter's actually funny. It's one thing if the chapter did what it did and not be funny. It's one thing to be that, because then I'm not gonna lie, I'd hate the chapter at that point. Chapter 5 would just be F tier if it was just goofiness. It felt like it ignored chapter 4 and it wasn't funny. But chapter 5 is funny as shit, bro. Chapter 5 is funny as hell, bro. Like the whole segment with Yellow trying to kill himself, awkward. I ain't gonna lie, bro. And plus, chapter 5 got awkward. That's D1 off of that alone. But like seeing Flowery for the first time, seeing that anime shit, bro. I'm thinking that I turned on the wrong game. The whole getting Susie ready for her date with Noelle, seeing that shit together, and plus like when chapter 5 is good, chapter 5 arguably has some of the best Deltarune scenes ever. I love the Noelle and Susie date. Just, you know, letting Susie and Noelle have this happy moment that I feel like the both of them really deserved, especially Susie. After the night that they just came off of, Susie deserved that little moment with Noelle. And then, like, again, like I said before, when Rousey was praying, hoping that, you know, praying to protect Susie and Chris. That's that moment with him and Flowery. I love that shit. The final half, like that entire last half where all the flowers are going against Chris, Susie, and Rousey. That's probably peak Deltarune content. And then Flowery's boss fight. Flowery is probably my second favorite boss after the Roaring Knight, bro. Once you get his dialogue about him just wanting to about all the flowers just wanted to repay Asgore's kindness to them. The whole point of them is just trying to repay his kindness. And then when he says, if you believe that your world is better than ours, then stand against us. And then when he starts flying, and then Flower Man starts kicking in. Ooh, boy, that shit is D1, bro. That is D1. I love this chapter. I'll go, and plus chapter 5 has the best gameplay too. I feel like chapter 5 is the most replayable chapter. I played through this shit hella times. Like, hold on, bro. I think I got, how many hours do I got in just chapter 5 alone? Like, I started I started on my Deltarune. I started Deltarune chapter 5 with like 90 something hours, like I think 80 hours. I started chapter 5 with 80 hours. I got 118 right now. All that just came from chapter 5. Just going back and forth playing this chapter because I didn't want to put that shit down. And then another thing, Pink, I like how she is like a more positive version of how Chris and the Soul can end up going. Like if Spamton represents like the negative relationship of Chris and the Soul, Pink represents the positive way and how, you know, we can both work together. I'm hoping that we can bond with Chris in chapter 6, or like I'm praying that we can bond with Chris in chapter 6. And plus but you know that's later shit. You know, chapter 6 ain't even out yet. That shit coming out next year. And plus, I think chapter 5 probably has the best weird route scene. I didn't speak on chapter 4's weird route. Let me go back to chapter 4 real quick. When I first watched chapter 4's weird route scene, but that shit shook my core, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had to take a break when I first seen the chapter 4 weird route. I was thinking like, man, it couldn't get worse. It couldn't get worse from here. And then I played chapter 5. I had to watch Noelle and Chris drown themselves, bro. I went from thinking that chapter 5 was just gonna be us beating Chris's ass or some shit, or like tormenting Chris. But I had to watch them drown. But yeah, I feel like chapter 5, I feel like it's a step down from chapter 4 in terms of like writing and as a story. But at the same time, I can understand why it is like that. Because chapter 4 had this whole fantasy epic vibe to it. You know, chapter 4 felt more like something like Lord of the Rings or Skyrim, some shit like that. It felt like this fantasy epic thing. It had all this crazy ass lore drops going on. You fought the fucking Titan. Like chapter 4 raised the stakes so high to the point where I feel like a lot of us kind of thought that chapter 5 had to either raise the stakes more or just have like a shit ton of answers back to back. But I feel like chapter 5 is a good appetizer for what's gonna come later on in the game. I feel like that's what chapter 5 was meant to do. Chapter 5 was meant to give us this and you know, Toby literally says this himself. Chapter 5 is meant to give us that last sense of like, hey, things are fun, things is nice. Let's enjoy this while this lasts. It's meant to give us that last piece of that before we transition into whatever the fuck he has planned in chapter 6 and chapter 7. I'm not gonna lie. Like, after seeing what Flowery had to say about something evil brewing beneath the town, you already know whatever's in that shelter is gonna make True Lab look like the pacifist thing. Whatever's in the shelter is gonna make True Lab look like true pacifists. You already know. Whatever's in that shelter, we're not ready for. We're not ready for whatever in that shelter. Also, another scene that I really loved was the ending scene with Susie. Susie saying, "Thanks for taking me home, Chris." It's like, you're really like, bro, Susie's gonna go through it. And Susie's gonna go through it. She gonna go through it, man. My goat's gonna go through it. But you know, that we're talking about chapter 6 and chapter 7 territory. Those two ain't even out yet. But yeah, I'm just rambling now. But yeah, like, I feel like overall, if I had to put a number to chapter 5, I know I did say D1 is like 10 out of 10. Chapter 2 and chapter 4 is definitely 10 out of 10. I'd say chapter 5 is a 9.5, leaning close to a 10. That's gonna do it for this chapter ranking. This is probably the worst chapter ranking you'll ever find on YouTube. My fault. I'll just be yapping. I'll just be talking. If you watch my videos, you would understand, bro. I'll just be talking. I'll just be saying shit. But yo, that's gonna do it for this video, YouTube. If y'all enjoyed this, let me know. I got a few other tier lists that I want to do. I might do if this does well and there's interest in another tier list, I'll probably do a tier list of all the bosses in Deltarune. But that's gonna do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed. Yeah.